Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zack, and today I am driving a 1997 Toyota Century. Up front is a 5.0 liter V12, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Toyota Century because it is a V12 Toyota, the only V12 that they ever made. Now, they made it for nearly 20 years at about 500 cars a year, but it's still the only Toyota V12 ever made. This is one of the most luxurious cars in the world, and I'm so excited to share it with you. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to that V12 under the hood. Well, like I said, it's the only V12 that Toyota has ever done, and it displaces 5 liters. Now, Toyota says that it makes 276 horsepower. However, that's partially a lie, because at the time in Japan, there was a gentleman's agreement about horsepower. You see, the manufacturers in Japan were worried that everyone was just trying to one-up each other on who could produce the most horsepower, so they capped it at 276, which was really a tongue-in-cheek thing. In all reality, this car probably makes more horsepower than that, but everyone just said 276 to keep it even, at least on paper. Now, even still, I don't think that this is making like 10,000 horsepower or anything like that, but they wanted a V12 for the smoothness. Not only that, they wanted it for genuine reliability. This engine can run on 6 cylinders. It actually has 2 fuel pumps in case one goes out. It actually alternates every time you turn on the car which fuel pump it uses. So if one goes bad and you're out and about, you need to get your wealthy executive to that business meeting, well, no worries. You have a second one as a backup. Now, like I said, paired to it is a 4-speed automatic, which it's always funny to hear that. What a big displacement V12 paired to a little 4-speed auto, but it's incredibly comfortable. And later on in the 2000s, they did switch up to a 6-speed automatic, but that wouldn't be for several years after this one. 97 is actually the first model year for this body style of Toyota Century. Last but not least, it is rear-wheel drive, as most executive cars were and are, especially in this era. How does it feel to drive the Toyota Century? Well, you might be able to hear it in my voice. It's incredibly calming. This car rides so quietly. To say it's like floating on a cloud, I think would actually be doing it a disservice. This feels like driving a velvet cloud stuffed with marshmallows. The steering is incredibly light. The car is so quiet, and it is just the best motoring experience, hands down. At least in terms of comfort, of course. Is it gonna curl your toes? Is it gonna pump your blood? Not quite, but again, that's not the point of this car. I feel myself becoming more and more relaxed. The loudest thing in here is the air conditioning system, of which I have 2 of, or at least 2 condensers, 1 front and 1 rear. It does not get any better than this Toyota Century. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. And this is going to be a little bit of a struggle because a lot of Japanese cars are exported to other markets or more user-friendly with a lot of English. This does not give me that leg to stand on. There's a lot of Japanese characters in here, so I apologize if I either mispronounce or misquote what a button might do. But in front of me, I do have half physical, half digital gauges. Off to the left, we have the fuel. In the center, we get our speed, as well as down below, we have like our odometer and RPMs and things like that. And off to the right, we have a physical coolant temperature. On the steering wheel, we get the Century badge, which is beautiful. Something interesting about the steering column is that it's actually magnetic. So if you have stuff hanging from your keys, they will magnetize to the steering column so it doesn't produce any noise. That is insane and very forward thinking from Toyota. I've never seen that before. And off to the right, we get our climate control vent, power mirrors, and gauge dimmer switches, along with a little pop-out cubby. Moving on to the door, this is where it starts to get a little interesting. Now, you have your lock and unlock, of course, all 4 power window switches, seat belt adjustment, and the heated seat buttons. And down below, you do have a 12-volt outlet, cigarette lighter, and ashtray in the door, as well as the latch to get in and out, with this warning label that is of no use to an English speaker. Moving into the center, we do get our little infotainment screen along with all of the options for that. So when the parking brake is actually pulled, you can watch a video on this. We'll talk about that a little bit later on with the back seat. And it is touchscreen. Now, I don't know what any of this stuff does, but this is really, really ahead of its time. You could also get turn-by-turn touchscreen navigation in 1997, which again, you're gonna hear me say this a lot, was way ahead of its time. Down below, we do have our climate controls. We get dual zone climate, which is wonderful. And as I said, there are 2 condensers, one for the front, one for the rear with the air conditioning. So the whole car is going to be incredibly cool. To the right of the climate controls, we do have 3 kind of ominous buttons. The far left is for the rear curtains. The center will lift the air suspension all the way up if you have a big bump, and off to the right is clearly fog lights. Down below that, we have our radio. We have an AM and FM radio, CD player and cassette player, volume, tune, all of that stuff. Funny enough, most of this is in Japanese. However, the compact disc digital audio badge is still in English. Then we get 2 cup holders, so we will do a big freaking bottle test. Probably one of the most elegant big freaking bottle tests we'll ever do. And although it fails, I don't really care. Then we have the shifter. You'll notice this shifter or recognize this shifter out of so many other Toyota products. It's nothing new, but we still use a form of this shifter even here today. So that is cool to see. Traction control off, as well as we have transmission settings for power and snow. And we have a tilt button for the passenger seat. Very, very interesting to see that. Then we do get a center console. Nothing too crazy in there. And then we'll talk about the seats. This is finished in a wool material, which the standard Toyota Century got leather, but you could upgrade to this wool. And there was actually a couple different color of wool options that you could get. This is the standard gray, again with the standard black paint we'll talk about. So nothing really too interesting there, but I thought that was cool that you could actually select different colors of wool or get leather if you wanted. However, speaking of seats, where you really want to be is in the back seats. So let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 1997 Toyota Century V12, and so much is going on back here. First of all, I do want to talk about these doilies, or this pattern material that you find. This is popular in Japanese cars. A lot of people buy aftermarket ones. These are the originals, the original curtains as well. This is all original to this car. This car only has about 31-ish thousand miles if my conversion from kilometers is correct, so it's incredibly low mileage. The seats are also heated back here. I also do get a massage feature back here. It's not a very aggressive massage feature. It basically just vibrates. But you saw this in like the ultra luxury LS430s in the early 2000s here. This had it back in 97. I get my own little TV and climate vents that come up here. 99% of other cars, all other cars pretty much, have climate vents down below. And so yeah, they're great at superheating or super cooling your right kneecap. But this will actually warm your torso or cool your torso, which is really nice. Like I said, that TV as well, there is a 6-disc CD changer in the glove box that will also play video. So the theory behind this, because if you open up this center console, there's actually a microphone button and input. You could do karaoke in the back of your Toyota Century. Japan and Korea are very, very interested in karaoke. It's a very popular thing to do. And so you could do that here in the Toyota Century. We do have cup holders here as well. And we have a Century TV remote, but you could fold all of that up. You get some little trays down below, and you get a VHS player from Panasonic down below, again to play video, but that CD changer in the glove box will work as well. Moving into the center, we get all of our seat adjustments. As I said, they are heated and they have a massage feature, as well as these rear seats actually have airbags in them. Very, very early to have that, 1997. There are airbags in the seats back here. They wanted to protect whoever was riding back here, and they did that, which is incredibly cool to see. I also do have controls for the seat in front of me if I would like extra leg room. This is where the important person would sit, would be in the back here. But famously, you can also open up the center of the seat so you can stick your legs through and actually use it as a sort of ottoman style to get the maximum amount of comfort. this is 100% the place you want to be. I can fold this up as well, but I'd like to leave it down, have my little command center. I get my own radio controls in here. And a lot of people misquote this online in other Century videos. They say that there's a cassette recorder in here so you could record business meetings. That's actually not the case. There is no record button back here. And so you can play cassettes or tapes or whatever you want to call them, but you can't actually record back here. I also do get a little beauty mirror back here. I get my own vents in the ceilings. And down here, there's a little pocket. Now, this isn't the original one, but a little pocket down by the floor for the shoehorn. There is a factory. Now, well, dealer installed, but original feather duster for the back. So cool to see that. I could spend hours talking to you about the backseat space and area of the Toyota Century. It's just the absolute coolest in the world. This is by far one of the coolest back seats I've ever been in, and I don't take that statement lightly. However, with that finished up, let's go hop into the very back and take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space. So even before we get back here, I do want to point out the key. This is the key that we would later get in Lexus products, but was used here first on the Century. So trunk button right here. Has that soft close, so it pops it up that little bit, and then reach under here and pull it up the rest of the way. Here is the trunk space of the Toyota Century. It's honestly nothing too crazy. We do get a toolkit that is built into the side. Very cool to see that. That is the original Toyota Century toolkit. Absolutely love that, and that has its own little home over there. And it is very wide and low. You could fit a ton of stuff in there. But that is the trunk of a Toyota Century from 1997. Now we got to talk about the looks. And as I stated earlier, this is finished in black. And up until before I did this video, I was under the impression that all Toyota Centuries were black. It's actually not the case. They made 4 white ones, and they offered other colors like a really deep purple, a dark green. And so you could get color options of the Toyota Century, which I had no idea. I've always seen them in black. I think black is the best color. It's very, very classy, very subtle, and I like that a lot. But you could find them in other colors if you wanted. I also love how understated just the whole design of the car is, and they ran with this design all the way up through the 2000s, so they stuck with it. And really, it is just kind of a facelifted, at least visually facelifted version of what they started doing in the 60s. So let's get on to the final thoughts. This car was originally designed in the 60s. The Toyota Century was started as Toyota's bid for the emperor and head of state in Japan. They wanted all of the government officials to drive Toyota products. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, and they actually went with the Nissan president. But Toyota still put the Century into production. Always super low production numbers, decently expensive, and these were purchased by executives and other heads of state that might not have been provided a governmental vehicle. Now, in the late 90s of this generation, they actually did start using these in the government as government-issued vehicles. So it is cool. They really played the waiting game and actually got it done. But being in this car, it just calms you down so much. It takes you out of the world. I don't feel like I'm in the suburbs of Illinois right now. I could be anywhere in the world and I'm feeling calm, I'm feeling happy, and I'm feeling at peace. And so when Toyota set out to build the Century, they wanted nothing but the best. No holds barred, nothing else will do. It has to be the best. And that's what they did. It really truly is, if you want it done right, you got to do it yourself. And they didn't hide it under the Lexus marquee. They didn't try to do anything fancy or special. They just wanted the best, and they went out there and they freaking did it. This is the best luxury car. Sure, there are more expensive ones. Sure, there are flashier ones. Sure, there are ones with more options and bigger engines. But from where I'm sitting, nothing beats the Toyota Century. Absolutely nothing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Ryan for letting me take out his Toyota Century. This has been an absolutely eye-opening experience and a rather relaxing one. Ryan is so knowledgeable about these cars. We sat and we had a very long conversation about it, and I learned so much from him. He's been a wonderful asset to the channel, and I appreciate him very, very much. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.